preparing.
Anna, did you want me to lead in on anything?
It's up to you. If you want to give a few comments, I'm fine with that. Otherwise, I can just start up.
Let's just start, because I think most of this has already been presented at other public meetings.
Okay.
All right, Anna, we're on YouTube. Whenever you're ready, you can go ahead.
Okay. So we are going to show a little bit of a budget overview for the fiscal year 2021. Budget at a glance. It's May 7th, 2020. So as far as the budget snapshot for this year, our total city budget is $101,000. Total general fund is $23 million, and our special revenue funds are $3.8 million. Enterprise funds are $52 million. So that's the total overview of the city budget. As far as fund types, I'd like to explain a little bit how we break out our different fund types in the budget, so we can go through each of those throughout this presentation. General fund is typically accounts that are not restricted for special purposes. These are typically general government services such as public safety, snow removal, parks, recreation, and the library. Special revenue funds are funds designated or restricted for a special purpose. These typically include a fitness center, redevelopment agency, and celebration fund. Proprietary funds are broken into two types. Internal service funds are used to pay for services that are used within the city. The city uses internal service funds for fleet operations and information technology. Enterprise funds are similar to a typical business where we collect fees that cover the cost of the service that's provided. These are for culinary water, pressurized irrigation, and most of the utility funds for the city. Capital projects funds are used for construction, acquisition of major facilities or equipment costing more than $10,000. These are typically not operational costs, but are typically larger one-time expenses. So we keep those separate in a capital projects fund. So that's the budget overview of fund types. As far as revenues for all funds in citywide, again, its revenue is $85.4 million. General fund is comprised of 27% of the total citywide budget for revenues. Enterprise funds is 52%, and capital projects is 14%. So you can see the breakout is on the left. As far as revenues by type for all funds citywide, $85.4 million. Charges for services is 29%. This is typically your utility charges for water, sewer, storm drain, and such. We are anticipating going out for bid for loan proceeds to fund one of our larger capital projects. So that 28% of financing sources is debt proceeds that we are anticipating in the new budget year. Sales tax makes up 11% of our overall citywide revenues, and property taxes make up 7%. Expenditures for all funds citywide are broken out as follows: $101 million. General fund is 23% of that. That includes all of your non-restricted funds. This will include your public safety, your public works and such. Enterprise funds makes up 51% of citywide expenses. This is all of your utility funds, including water, sewer, storm drain. And the capital projects is 19% of total citywide expenditures. Because general fund is the unrestricted fund of the city, we wanted to show you an overview of what money comes in for general services such as public safety and public works. Taxes make up 57% of general fund revenues. This is your sales tax, your property tax, your franchise tax, and your motor vehicle. Sales tax this year, we're anticipating a little bit lower than we had in previous years to COVID-19 pandemic. We're anticipating roughly about $7.7 million. Other fund type revenue types in the general fund include charges for services. This is typically your recreation fees. This is development fees, And we also included our public safety contract with Cedar Hills in this category as well. So that makes up 28% of general fund revenues. This is a historical trend of revenues by year from 2012 to the proposed 2021 budget. As you can see, the revenues have been growing year after year until this new budget year with the pandemic. We wanted to be especially conservative in our estimates to make sure that we're not taking away any revenue throughout the year. And we hope that number is obviously better than we're anticipating, but that's a pretty good estimate based on what we've seen so far. So it takes us back to 2019 resources. So we slid back a little bit from the last 2020 budget year. So we are anticipating general fund revenues being $22.7 million. This is a breakdown showing what that revenue number is consisting of and the comparisons to the last budget year. As you can see, every category has gone down except for charges for services. So our overall decrease in revenue is 7.8%. And total revenues again is $22.7 million. The largest decrease is in taxes. This is a decrease in sales tax, as we mentioned before, a slight decrease in property tax and franchise tax as well. So the largest percent of revenues is taxes, and that's the largest decrease as far as total numbers, $1.3 million decrease. Our general fund expenditures by function and by type are shown here. So the public safety gets the biggest piece of the pie at 51%. This includes all of our police and fire services. Community services makes up 12%. This is your library and parks. Public works includes streets and makes up 18%. And then other ones are planning and general services. General services is your finance department, your administration department, your legal, and your legislative departments. Expenditures by type is shown here. Personnel makes up the largest percentage. This includes all of public safety, fire and police, and all of full-time and part-time employees. Operations takes up 23%, and the capital is 4% of general fund expenditures. Same as revenue, we're breaking out general fund expenditures by function here. The total general fund expenditures is $23 million. It's a slight decrease of 0.8%. This is, as you can see, the by function, every function went down from the prior year with the exception of police. We're anticipating and recommending a couple of new officers for the police department. But other than that, a lot of it went down. We are reducing some part-time employees because facilities have been closed. Also reducing a little bit of operational expenses because again, we're trying to go back to 2019 level of service based on the resources and revenues that we are anticipating. As far as capital projects, by function, we have public safety. We are planning to construct the second fire station in the city. That's anticipated at $8.4 million. Public works is $4.2 million. That includes a lot of street projects. And parks includes some trail projects at $4.7 million. Our funding for capital projects, the bond proceeds of 8.4, that's to go to the construction of the fire station. We have grants of $5.4 million. That's for some trail and street projects. And then a little bit of other services such as sales tax, road impact, Class B and C funds. Those are going for street projects, park impact fees, and some other miscellaneous revenues. As far as an overview of capital projects for the year, our pavement management plan is just over $2 million. This is the 4th year of the city's management plan and includes general street improvements and rehabilitation. Funding for this is transportation sales tax, discretionary property tax, and Class C road funds that are allocated for transportation. Again, our fire station, and we're anticipating that to be built this year for $8.4 million. Should be completed next year, 2021. We have a 700 North connection of 1.9 million. This is the majority of funding for this project is through Mountain Land Association of Governments through a grant. And then 200 South, the bike pedestrian path for 4.1 million. This again is funded through a Mountain Land Association of Governments grant and also some impact fees. The biggest project that we're anticipating in this next year is a water line project. This project will replace old main line pipelines with a larger pipe. This is to get some water to the new developments in the south end of the city. Pressurized irrigation meters are 3 million. This is a phase 1 of a project to install meters throughout the city. And then pressurized irrigation pump and land in the south end of the city. It's 2 million earmarked to perform a study and to potentially purchase land in the southern area of the city. That concludes our presentation, our overview of the budget. Our next steps is May 12th for presenting the tentative budget to City Council for recommended approval. June 23rd, we anticipate the adoption of the budget and the certified tax rate. And if you have any questions or comments, we'd love to hear from you. Please email me at amontoya@afcity.net.